This is the first time that I'm speaking about it. It's something that I'll never forget.
A former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs speaking out in the new interview with new allegations about wild parties and
Let's talk about one of the most explosive revelations in the recent whirlwind of legal drama. Kristina Khorram, the woman once described as Sean Diddy Combs' right hand, now caught in a tangled web of accusations, rumors, and allegations. And here's the real kicker. Has she secretly been playing both sides? Betrayal, heartbreak, and some jaw-dropping claims about what really went down. It's all here, so buckle up.
Kind of statement. I don't see this statement hurting or helping her. You know, it's one of those innocuous statements that's essentially like, let's wait and see how things turn out. I'm going to be vindicated. You know, that's kind of the standard when it comes to these statements that are made and the individual that are stating it. It's just, like I said, I think the heat is starting to be turned up on a lot of these different cases, criminal and civil.
Kristina Khorram wasn't just any employee for Diddy. She was the one running the show behind the scenes, the gatekeeper to his empire. Diddy himself once gushed about her on social media, calling her his right-hand woman and crediting her for managing every aspect of his life. She's been my right hand for the last 8 years and has consistently proven to execute and get things done, he wrote in a 2021 Facebook post. Think about it, the man who built Bad Boy Records, launched global brands, and dominated multiple industries said he didn't know how he'd function without her. That's how much power and trust she wielded. But with power comes responsibility. And apparently, a lot of skeletons in the closet.
Do you believe a statement like this, and given the allegations against her, does this give you a clue about her potential role in this criminal case? In other words, do you think she could be called as a witness by either the prosecution or the defense?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine any universe where she's not called as a witness by either the defense or the prosecution.
For over a decade, Khorram was by Diddy's side, rising through the ranks from a senior executive in 2013 to becoming his chief of staff in 2020. From managing his businesses to coordinating his personal life, she was the one who made things happen. But now, her name has become synonymous with something far darker. Khorram has been named in multiple lawsuits accusing her of enabling the very behavior that has landed Diddy in a storm of legal trouble. And while she vehemently denies any wrongdoing, the sheer volume of allegations is enough to make anyone suspicious.
Knows kind of his day-to-day schedule and how he operates, the individuals that he knows, the individuals that came to see him at his office or his home, and she was there during that time period. I believe that she would either be useful for the defense or useful for the prosecution.
So earlier this year, Khorram finally broke her silence, issuing a statement to address what she called the horrific accusations being made against her. I have never condoned or aided and abetted the harm of anyone, she said, nor have I ever slipped anything to anyone. She described the allegations against her as false, claiming they've caused irreparable and incalculable damage to her reputation and the well-being of her family. Her words were carefully chosen, her tone emotional, but was it genuine or just a carefully crafted defense strategy? After all, the stakes couldn't be higher.
And I know you said he explained all of the items that were involved in these Wild King nights. Did he mention who would participate as well?
A lot of them were unknown to him. He did mention that a lot of the women were very, very young as 20, not underage, but certainly.
Rumors have been swirling that Khorram might have flipped on Diddy, providing key information to federal authorities in exchange for some kind of leniency. Could she be the one fueling the fire that's now engulfing her former boss? According to some insiders, Khorram's proximity to Diddy means she had access to everything. His plans, his operations, his secrets. If anyone could spill the tea on what really went down, it's her. And here's where things get murky. Some sources claim that Khorram has been cooperating with investigators for months, long before the lawsuits against her surfaced. If that's true, it would explain why Diddy's legal team has gone on the offensive, labeling some of the allegations against him as fictional and a coordinated attack.
Good morning, Michael. At this point, we've all probably heard about these infamous parties. Diddy's assistant now giving us details about what he says were called Wild King Nights.
Let's not forget the sheer scope of Khorram's responsibilities as Diddy's chief of staff. She wasn't just managing schedules and booking flights. This was someone who, according to multiple lawsuits, allegedly oversaw every aspect of his personal life, including some deeply troubling activities. One former employee, Rodney Lil Rod Jones Jr., went so far as to call Khorram the Ghislaine Maxwell to Diddy's alleged misdeeds. a comparison that immediately sent shockwaves through the media. Jones accused Khorram of brushing off concerns about her boss's behavior with dismissive comments like, Sean will be Sean. And then there's the claim that she downplayed physical encounters as friendly horseplay, telling employees it was just Diddy's way of showing that he likes you. If those accusations are true, they paint a picture of someone who was not just a bystander, but an active enabler.
A lot of times you would have him with a younger female. There's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to reel in. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand the consent.
But Khorram's alleged role didn't stop there. According to multiple lawsuits, she was deeply involved in organizing Diddy's infamous parties, events that have now become central to the allegations against him. These weren't just your average celebrity get-togethers. These were elaborate, multi-day affairs, shrouded in secrecy and filled with high-profile guests. And according to some claims, Khorram was the one making the arrangements, from coordinating logistics to ensuring that certain, let's say, special requests were met. One former assistant even alleged that Khorram would alert him when Diddy wanted to host one of these events, sending him on frantic errands to stock up on supplies and prepare the venue. After the events, that same assistant claims he was tasked with cleaning up the aftermath, which he described as wreckage.
In the moment, it just felt like, what? Like, is this fun for him? Is this like a test?
It doesn't end there. Another former employee, Phil Pines, alleged in a lawsuit that he once witnessed Diddy kick a woman outside his Miami home during one of these infamous gatherings. Pines claims that when he reported the incident to Khorram, she told him to never speak about it again and warned of repercussions if he did. This raises a chilling question. How much did Khorram know, and how far was she willing to go to keep things under wraps? The lawsuits don't just paint Khorram as an enabler. They suggest she was a key player in a much larger operation. Some allegations claim she was responsible for hiring and paying individuals to attend these parties, and even arranging special guests for Diddy's private gatherings. And then there's the shocking claim that she allegedly instructed employees to carry certain items at all times, suggesting a level of preparation and organization that goes beyond anything you'd expect from a typical chief of staff. If these allegations are true, it's no wonder that people are questioning her motives and her loyalties.
Listen to this description, because there is a whole section of that complaint dedicated to Kristina Khorram, where Rodney Jones basically makes the allegation that Kristina Khorram is the Ghislaine Maxwell to Sean Combs' Jeffrey Epstein. That's what it says. And of course, we know that she has been the associate of deceased financier Jeffrey Epstein, who ended up getting convicted of trafficking charges, sentenced to 20 years in prison.
So why would someone like Khorram, who had everything to lose, allegedly go along with these activities? Some speculate that it was about self-preservation. When you're that close to someone as powerful as Diddy, it's easy to get swept up in their orbit. But others believe there's more to the story, that Khorram might have been complicit out of ambition, loyalty, or fear. And now, with the spotlight firmly on her, those same forces could be driving her to cooperate with authorities in an effort to save herself.
Well, I think it's heating up, and I think she has to make that statement at this point because a lot of people are making accusations. I'm sure there's an issue in terms of the federal investigation and what's going on with the federal investigation and if they're going to be interviewing her or using her as a witness. So my belief is all those things are coming to a head.
Of course, Khorram denies all of this. She insists that she's innocent, that she's being unfairly targeted because of her association with Diddy. And maybe she's right. After all, it's easy to point fingers when someone is in the middle of a scandal this massive. But the timing of her public statements, combined with the growing rumors of her cooperation with investigators, has left many wondering if there's more to the story than she's letting on. As the lawsuits pile up and the allegations against Diddy grow more damning, Khorram's role in this saga becomes increasingly pivotal. Is she a scapegoat, a victim of circumstance, who's being dragged down by her former boss's alleged misdeeds? Or is she a key player, who's now trying to rewrite her narrative by cooperating with the very people investigating him? One thing's for sure. The truth, whatever it may be, has the potential to upend not just her life, but the lives of everyone involved.
In normal trafficking cases, you think of something a lot different than those accusations. And I do believe that she didn't know the details of everything that was going on, I don't really find it plausible to believe that she didn't know anything was going on.
And here's where things get even more complicated. As Diddy's legal troubles intensify, his inner circle seems to be crumbling. Khorram isn't the only former associate to break ranks, and the betrayals keep piling up. It's a scenario that's eerily reminiscent of another infamous figure whose inner circle turned against him, leading to his ultimate downfall. Could Diddy be heading down the same path? And if so, what role will Khorram play in his unraveling?
She's employed someplace else. I'm sure she has some other business that's going on. And my belief is it's probably hurting those relationships she has being associated with Sean Combs.
Let's pick up where we left off because this story just keeps getting wilder. With Kristina Khorram's name swirling in the headlines and her alleged involvement becoming a hot topic, you'd think Sean Diddy Combs would have his hands full just dealing with her fallout. But the drama doesn't stop there. The walls are closing in on him from every side. And the betrayals? Oh, they're piling up faster than anyone could have imagined. At this point, it seems like Diddy's world is crumbling under the weight of secrets, accusations, and his own inner circle turning against him. So the question is, how did one of the most powerful figures in entertainment find himself so completely isolated?
Did he? Or didn't he? Well, if he didn't, he's got a lot to explain. Well, apparently what Diddy's done now, which is a very interesting thing, is he's on the offensive of sorts. That's right, Sean Diddy Combs has initiated a $100 million defamation lawsuit.
Diddy, who built an empire that spanned music, fashion, and television, has always been known for his larger-than-life persona. But now, as he faces federal charges and an avalanche of lawsuits, it's as though every ally he ever had is vanishing into thin air. And while Kristina Khorram's alleged betrayal might have been the first domino to fall, she's far from the only one who's distanced herself from him. His empire, once fortified by loyalty and discretion, is now riddled with cracks, and those cracks are quickly becoming gaping holes. But let's not forget, Diddy didn't just build his career on talent alone. He thrived because of his connections, big names, big deals, and a carefully curated circle of trusted confidants. But what happens when that trust is shattered? Over the past year, whispers have turned into full-blown accusations, and the people closest to him, the ones who knew the most, have started to speak out. And here's where it gets really interesting. While Diddy's team has repeatedly denied all allegations, calling them nothing more than opportunistic fabrications, the consistency of these claims and the sheer number of voices coming forward are hard to ignore.
I believe that it opens yourself up to some negligence claims. Again, I don't know if Jay-Z is going to go that far, but certainly I think it does open himself up to some negligence claims. Maybe that was part of the reason why he dismissed with prejudice. I don't know.
And then there's the situation with Jay-Z. Now, this is where things really take a turn. Jay-Z, another titan of the music industry, has found himself dragged into the chaos surrounding Diddy. Allegations have surfaced linking him to some of the same events that are now under scrutiny. And while he's denied everything in no uncertain terms, the rumors alone have been enough to make headlines. The speculation is rampant. Did Jay-Z know what was happening? Was he involved, or is he simply collateral damage in Diddy's spiraling downfall? Either way, the association is a PR nightmare, and it's clear that even the most powerful figures in the industry aren't immune to the ripple effects of this scandal.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
But let's zoom out for a moment. Diddy's current predicament is starting to feel eerily familiar, isn't it? The parallels to another infamous case, one involving a certain financier whose name became synonymous with scandal, are impossible to ignore. Like Jeffrey Epstein, Diddy is accused of using his wealth and influence to create an environment where boundaries were not just blurred, but completely disregarded. And just like Epstein, Diddy's alleged actions were reportedly facilitated by a network of enablers, each playing their part to keep the machine running smoothly. The big difference? This is playing out in the court of public opinion as much as it is in the actual courts, and the media frenzy is amplifying every twist and turn. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. While Epstein's downfall was largely orchestrated by investigative journalism and whistleblowers, Diddy's situation seems to be unraveling from within. The very people who once protected him are now turning their backs, either out of self-preservation or perhaps some lingering sense of guilt. Khorram, Pines, Jones, they're just the tip of the iceberg, and as more voices join the chorus, the question becomes not if, but when the full extent of Diddy's alleged actions will come to light.
Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down.
What's particularly striking is how isolated Diddy has become. For someone who once seemed untouchable, his current reality couldn't be more different. He's facing not just legal battles, but also a complete erosion of his support network. And while his legal team continues to insist that the allegations are baseless, the optics are damning. Every new lawsuit, every new accusation, chips away at the carefully constructed image he spent decades building.
Respect to the evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right? More than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in.
So what does this mean for Diddy's legacy? Can someone who was once considered a pioneer in the entertainment industry bounce back from something like this? Or is he destined to become another cautionary tale, a stark reminder of what happens when power goes unchecked? The comparisons to Epstein suggest the latter, but Diddy's story is far from over. With his trial date looming and the media spotlight showing no signs of dimming, the next few months could very well determine the rest of his life. And what about the people who've distanced themselves from him? Are they truly innocent? Or are they simply trying to save face now that the truth is starting to emerge? Khorram, for one, has positioned herself as a victim of circumstance, someone who's been unfairly dragged into the mess. But her denials, though passionate, haven't silenced the rumors about her potential cooperation with investigators. If she is, in fact, working with the authorities, it could spell disaster for Diddy. But it might also raise questions about her own culpability.
Jay-Z is speaking out this morning after the civil suit accusing him and Sean Diddy Combs of was dropped. NBC's Chloe Malas is here with more.
As for Jay-Z, his involvement, or lack thereof, remains a hot topic. While he's publicly condemned the allegations against him, the association alone has been enough to tarnish his otherwise pristine reputation. And let's not forget the broader implications for the music industry as a whole. If Diddy's empire can crumble this quickly, who's to say others won't follow? The ripple effects could be enormous, potentially exposing systemic issues that have been swept under the rug for far too long.
Lawsuit was withdrawn by the accuser's attorney Tony Busby on Friday with prejudice, meaning it cannot be refiled. Now, this lawsuit had originally been filed in December on behalf of a woman only known as Jane Doe, who claimed that Jay-Z and Combs raped her when she was just 13 years old at a house party following the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards.
In many ways, Diddy's story is a microcosm of a larger reckoning. It's not just about one man's alleged actions, it's about the culture of silence and complicity that allowed those actions to go unchecked. And while the comparisons to Epstein might feel sensational, they're not entirely unwarranted. Both cases involve powerful men accused of using their influence to exploit others, and both have left a trail of victims and enablers in their wake. But here's the thing, Diddy isn't Epstein. His story is still unfolding, and there are countless unanswered questions. Will he fight the charges and attempt to clear his name? Or will the weight of the allegations prove too much to bear? And what about the people who've turned against him? Are they heroes for speaking out or opportunists looking to save themselves? One thing's for sure, the truth, whatever it may be, will have far-reaching consequences, not just for Diddy, but for everyone involved.
It could be a disagreement regarding defense strategy. It could be a conflict. It could be a health issue. It really could be anything. And the paperwork doesn't identify it, nor should it. And the fact that Mark Agnifilo is still on the case and the other counsel of record leads me to believe that the judge is going to rubber stamp this motion and grant it.
As the dust continues to settle, or perhaps stir even further, it's clear that this is more than just a celebrity scandal. It's a moment of reckoning, a chance to examine the systems that allowed someone like Diddy to rise to power and potentially abuse it. Whether he's guilty or not, the fact that so many people are coming forward suggests that there's more to the story than meets the eye. And for those of us watching from the sidelines, it's a reminder that even the most carefully constructed empires can crumble in an instant. As the drama surrounding Diddy and Kristina Khorram continues to unfold, viewers are left with more questions than answers. Could Khorram truly have been playing both sides? And if so, what does this mean for Diddy's future? And what about the broader implications for the music industry? Are we witnessing a moment of reckoning or just another celebrity scandal? Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think will happen next in this tangled web of allegations and betrayals? Leave a comment and let the discussion begin. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more celebrity gossip.